Okay, we are 5 days out until Mr. David Icke is back in the studio for another long-form live conversation on the Digital Freedom Platform. And it's been interesting because I've been talking to David about some of the things that we see going on in the world. And the big question and conversation that seems to be taking place in America and even here in England is this concept of defunding the police and seeing if that's the way to make the changes that a lot of people are asking for. And again, the question needs to be asked, who gains when you defund the police? Who ultimately gains when that operation is taking place? And that's the question I guess David is going to talk about on Sunday. And it's the question I would pose to you right now, because the short-term effect seems like it might get what you're after. And whether that means you're a proponent of Black Lives Matter or you also just think that there's some changes that need to be made. But with that change, potentially a lot of other things are happening. And again, this is the big picture that I'm talking about, that David is going to be talking about on Sunday, where there's a lot of players involved with a lot of agendas involved. It's an election year. There's a Democrat Party and a Republican Party, and both of them are fighting for mind share. And mind share these days is won in a digital space, and it's won through emotion. And we're seeing a lot of emotion happening these days. We're seeing protests, we're seeing riots, we're seeing things that are funded by different organizations. We're seeing certain actions taken on the ground that are sometimes incongruent with the protesters on the ground. We've seen time and time again people that seem to be starting violence when other people are actually trying to peacefully protest and get change to happen. And there's a lot of other weird, shadowy figures in the background, which I'll be talking about in the next couple days. And David will be highlighting on Sunday, that have massive billion-dollar financial interests in funding in order to get what they want in the big picture. And so again, the whole reason I bring David Icke in here is to get us to step back from our initial reaction of anger, the reactions that divide us. And that's why one of the most popular clips that we've ever had with David Icke, that's since been removed by some of these platforms, is what he calls the transgender agenda. And David says, I'm not going to argue with you about trans and transgender, because don't you see? It's a way of them dividing us. All of these things are a way of them dividing us, so we fight against each other, and we don't see what's really happening. We don't see our human rights being violated. We don't see our entire economic and wealth structure being decimated as small businesses go. And we're over here yelling about this thing when we don't see what's actually happening behind our backs and under the table. And that's what we're going to be talking about, and that's what David is the master of. And so again, when it comes to things like defund the police, when it comes to things, I am.
Oh my God!
Look at these lazy ladies here, yeah?
Uh-oh,
it's in full effect. There you go. Take those masks off. All right, there you go. All right, thank you so much. I appreciate. There you go. Got to get those masks off. They're not watching enough London Real. So it's crazy. This happens to me all the time, by the way. So my point is this, is follow the money, okay? That's what it's all about, and follow the actions and find out who benefits, because who benefits is potentially who's pulling the strings. And again, short time, we're angry, we're emotional, and we're like, yeah, this has got to happen. These people have to pay, and these things have to change, and maybe they do. But let's also think about what's happening in the bigger picture, and let's make sure we're not being herded like a bunch of sheep into one agenda that seems so obvious. And we see this happening with a lot of what happened with lockdown and COVID and the V word as well, which I can't necessarily say. But all of that seems like it's problem, reaction, solution. We're shown a problem, we react, and we're given the solution. You have to go there. You have to get a vaccine. You have to defund the police. You have to do this. When in fact, there's actually a lot of choices, but you're only given one, and you're forced that way because your emotions are being used for someone else's agenda. And that's what I think is happening here. And that's why I bring in a master like David Icke, who researches this stuff and understands it much better than I do. But I know I need that perspective if we're going to move forward. So this is one of the few things we're going to be covering on Sunday, June 14th on the Digital Freedom Platform. Be there. freedomplatform.tv, londonreal.tv/Icke, but I need you to help me spread the word. So share this video, share our clips, share the URL, share our pictures on Instagram, because the only way we're going to get this out there is with your help. Hashtag London Real Army. I appreciate you. We are going to do what we do no matter what, because we will not be silenced, we will not be censored, and we will not be stopped. I'm going to keep pushing this content out to you regardless of what happens to us. We're going to get these messages out there so the world can make the proper decision and not the emotional, reactional anger decision that's probably going to put us in a worse situation, maybe not a month from now, but a year from now and 10 years from now. So those are my thoughts. Sending you all peace in the world, and we'll see you Sunday with David Icke.